Yeah,
Can I walk to Chad's house?
sure, but that's a rough neighborhood, so you remember, if anyone offers you drugs, you say,
I am down. How much for crack?
No, you are not down.
I am not down with any of your crack.
If a stranger asks you to get in his van, you say,
On my way.
nope, not right. Stranger danger.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
What if a stranger pulls up on you with his car? He's like, hey, I can't find my dog. Can you get in? Help me search for my dog.
This one's easy.
Okay.
You help him find that fucking dog.
Nope.
Right. Fuck that dog.
What if someone offers you candy?
I'll take my shirt off for a Snickers.
Okay, I'm thinking maybe I should just drive you.
So don't take my shirt off for a Snickers bar. Dad.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Spirit Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 332 of the report, man. And it's been 2 weeks. This is the last time I talked to y'all, man. Your man Spann been tired. I swear to God, your man Spann been tired. But you know what? The Lord has saw it. He has saw it like permissible for me to have some vacation time. You know what I'm saying? Like he saw my weary legs, man. The Lord saw my weary legs. He was like, Spann, I deem it that you have vacation time. And the Lord was good, and it was so. You know what I'm saying? So I've been off work for like the last 5 days and shit, like kind of just trying to like get my shit together, man, because I was feeling bad, man, like feeling real bad. Like, like you ever been to work, man? Like you were like at work, and it's like you don't stop moving from like 8 in the morning till about like 9 o'clock in the evening. Like it was one of those sort of kind of situations and shit. Like, yo, straight work all day from sun up to sundown. Like your man Spann was tired, man. So like I've been like on some recuperation sort of shit, man, with the whole like job and everything. So that's what it's been, man. Like real talk, your man Spann just been exhausted. I ain't really had a whole lot of like energy to do a whole lot, but we feeling better now. Springtime has finally decided to bring her funky ass on, man. You know what I'm saying? Wintertime to decide to get this trifling, dreary ass, cold, dreary, dead, cold. Like, oh, we sick of that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? 2021 springtime, you know what I'm saying? Give us everything that you owe us. You know what I'm saying? That means sunshine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, rain days, you know what I'm saying? Because your man Spann love a rain day. A good rain day come through for your boy, man. Like real talk, man. So yeah, man, like you get flowers and shit, man, new flowers. Now, I got allergies though, so you man that come with sneezing and shit too. But you know what? It's the trade-off. It's the trade-off that you got to have for the good springtime shit, man. Real talk. So yeah, man, we got that going on. But like I said, man, this is episode 332 of the Spann Report Podcast. And before we get into the whole shit, man, let me let you guys know how to get in touch with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. There's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. And also, if you're watching us here live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Periscope, you can chop it up with us live on the show, man. So hit up that hotline, area code 313-288-0485. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead and leave us those emails. And of course, those emails will get read here and replied to here live on the show as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime, man. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network. Also, you can go to our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls when we decide to put those polls up. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network. And shout out to our Patreon patrons who allow for us to do this show here live on YouTube, on Patreon, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, and Facebook. For those of you who contribute to us in that way, man, you guys are the ones who allow for us to do this show here live in the ways in which we do it, man. So shout out to the golden circle of the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. We couldn't do this without you. Sincerely. But yeah, man, it's been an eventful couple weeks, man. I kind of hate that I really couldn't like get on the mic in the ways in which I really wanted to, man. Cause like as much as I wanted to talk to y'all about a lot of shit, like I said, man, like I'm at work and stuff, and it's kind of hard for me to pay attention to some stuff. I heard about the Derek Jackson shit, man. Like that's shit's crazy, man. Like, here's the thing about that, like, I'm gonna just kind of briefly, just like real quick, like the whole relationship advice, like Stilo always seems shifty and shady to me. Because all the time, man, like the relationship advice stuff is always geared towards like the ladies. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they know niggas ain't gonna listen to their ass, man. Niggas don't listen to shit, man. Like, you can tell a nigga how to do something. He gonna figure out a way to be like, nah, man, but what if I do it this way? Like, no, nigga, just do it the way I told you to do it. That niggas don't listen, man. That's why they don't gear those books towards us, man. They don't gear those counselors towards us because we don't listen, man. We don't listen. We could probably use the motherfucking information. We don't listen. So Derek Jackson apparently was like cheating on his woman or whatever, and he was exposed for it. And you know, Derek Jackson got to talking about himself in the third person, as you know, one would do when you someone like Derek Jackson. And I remember, like, when I first started hearing about Derek Jackson, it more so had to do with the fact that like niggas hated Derek Jackson. Like niggas hated this nigga. It was more so like they felt like he was giving up like some trade secrets and whatever the fuck. But it also just kind of it got to a point where like niggas just felt like he was just pandering. He was just telling people, he was telling women exactly what they wanted to hear. Niggas was always at fault for shit. And you know, especially like the segment of the people that he was targeting that shit towards, they ain't really apt to like listen to you when you blaming them for shit, man. It just ain't. It just ain't. So for him to be found out to be a scumbag in a way in which he was talking about other scumbags, man, it was just, you know, it was his, you know, he got his just desserts, man, real talk. But you know, you had that shit going on, man. What was another thing that happened when I was away? Shit, I heard about this story about like this dude that like he asked his wife not to go to the insurrection and shit, and she decided to go anyway, and he found out that she was there. But not only did he find out she was there, but she was there with some other dude. That's fucked up, man. Find out your wife cheating on you with another MAGA supporter, man. Like you MAGA, but you ain't like deep MAGA, but she like MAGA, and like they go out there and she go out there committing some crimes on behalf of her love for this MAGA shit, and she wasn't with you. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't with you. So he asking for a divorce and shit. I know that shit happened, man. We had an attack happen on the Capitol again. Which was weird too, man. Because like honestly, like, you know, it was a brother this last time, man. It was a brother. It was like one of those Itwan situations, man. If it was a nigga, they'd kill his ass, and we found out for real, they really kill our ass if we tried some shit like that. And it played out, man. Like you figured out, like before they even identified who the motherfucker was, you're like, hey man, he dead? It was a nigga. That's pretty much how it goes, man. That's how it goes. But yo, man, those are some things that was kind of going on, man. Now I do have some random thoughts. I got a couple of random thoughts, man, I want to share with you guys, man, because you know, I it's been a while, man. I ain't talked to y'all in a couple weeks, man. So let me just kind of like, you know, show y'all some of the shit that would be going on in my brain sometimes, right? So first things first, man. First thing I kind of want to talk about, Ring doorbells, man. A lot of us got them now. You know what I'm saying? I remember when it was sort of like a novelty thing, man. You know, you show it off when you're at work or something. Like, man, look, I can see what's going on my front porch right now, man. I can see this nigga delivering my shit. And then you might see some shit on there you really didn't want to see. You know what I'm saying? But like somebody running off with your shit. But nah, man, the Ring doorbells, right? So you see the Ring doorbells that come on TV all the time, man. And it's weird because I used to have a Ring doorbell in the house I used to live in before this one. And you know, my dog, Keisha like is triggered by these commercials because anytime that this shit goes, like Keisha's running to the fucking door because she's used to the Ring doorbell being the thing at the old house, right? We got a different doorbell now. I think we use a Google Nest doorbell now, the Nest Hello doorbell. So it doesn't do all that shit. But she every time that commercial comes on, triggers my fucking dog, man. So I wish they stopped doing that shit on the commercials. But the other thing about the commercials, man, is that Ring doorbell always promotes this damn like they promote it as though like you could talk to the person coming to your door or whatever, and it's all like they real nonchalant about how they talk to you. So like they had this one commercial where this lady was like in her car and this guy was like trying to scam people with this little clipboard or whatever, and she's telling him how, you know, she knows this is a scam and shit, and he just like, you know, he ain't even like he can hear her clearly. I'm here to tell y'all right now, as a nigga that knocks on doors every day, and as a nigga who goes to people's houses and they got these damn Ring doorbells, ain't nobody heard a fucking thing you said, man. This is why the niggas on your doorbell be in your doorbell like this. Huh? What you say? Huh? They can't hear shit. Nobody can hear shit from those doorbells, man. Like, and then here's the other thing too. So you ring the doorbell, and like as a person who used to have one, so I used to think that like, yo, man, so I know these niggas seen me, right? I know these niggas seen me because I got this doorbell, right? Nah, man, depending on how fast their little internet connection is, they might not even get the motherfucking notification. You could ring the doorbell, bruh, and don't nobody answer shit, man. Ain't nobody even talking to you, do that little tinny ass speaker and shit, right? So yeah, man, ring doorbell need to like, they need their asses whooped for like that false advertising, man. Making people think that shit is like grade A fucking sound quality and shit. It really ain't. It really ain't, man. I'll be thinking about that shit. Probably because I'd like deal with it every day. Another thing I was kind of thinking about, and this like on some other shit though, but like I kind of wonder like how often not just me, but I kind of wonder how often folks who came from impoverished situations can sometimes confuse imposter syndrome with survivor's remorse or survivor's guilt, right? Like I wonder about that sometimes because I deal with certain situations within, like family and friends and stuff where like I'm in a much better position than I was just 10 years ago. And sometimes you'll get a phone call and it's either family or friends or whatever. And because they see that you're doing relatively well, they expect for you to be able to help them in certain ways, and you can't. Like in the ways in which they're asking for your help, you can't really help them in that way. And you feel bad. Like I've had situations where you kind of feel bad that like, yo, I want to help, but I can't really help in that way, or I can't continue to keep helping, in this way. Like we got to figure something else out in order for you to get the assistance that you need. And so like sometimes I used to worry, I used to think about like, I'm not supposed to be here. Like it wasn't supposed to be me in this position. But then I like on the flip side of that, I was like, wait a minute. I kind of worked hard to get where I'm at. And so no, I'm supposed to be here, but also not only am I supposed to be here, I shouldn't be the only one. And so I just kind of wonder sometimes, man, this is something I was thinking about over the course of the last couple of weeks, man, especially dealing with some of the things that I've seen, with family and friends and stuff like that. I just kind of wonder, like, am I the only one who, who's thought about whether or not we confuse sometimes the idea of imposter syndrome, where like, I'm just like, I ain't supposed to be here, and survivor's remorse or survivor's guilt. Like you done came through some shit, and you still here and you're prospering, and yet some of the people that you kind of came up with haven't been able to prosper in the ways in which you have. And so you kind of feel a little guilty about like some of the things that you're able to do and not share with them in that way. So yeah, man, that's just something I was thinking about, man. Just something I was thinking about. Now, another thing I was kind of thinking about too, man. So y'all know, since we bought the house, we've been having issues, man, like getting certain stuff for the crib, man. I've brought you guys through the through the process of some of the more big ticket items that we've tried to get for the house. Like, I got the dryer, didn't get the washer, left our living room furniture and like got rid of that, and we was waiting on living room furniture. Well, let me tell you guys something. I should let you know that our long national nightmare is over. I'll be goddamn, the Spann boat has living room furniture now, man. Oh shit. Hallelujah. 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 We got some living room furniture up in this bitch, man. Oh man, it feel good, man. And I sit on the goddamn futon in my living room, baby. It feel good, man. Oh man, that shit was it was righteous, man. And see, not only that, so I done did this thing with the smart lights and shit. So I got like the smart lights set to like movie watching settings, nigga. I got like this little setting for this. Oh nigga, it looked beautiful. I mean, I wish I could invite y'all over and shit, but COVID, But oh snap, we got somebody from the Virgin Islands. Stacy's here from the Virgin Islands. How you doing, sweetheart? Thank you for checking in with us today. Yeah, man, I wish I could invite y'all over, man. You know, come in, you know, and enjoying the ambiance of the Spann abode and whatnot with the couch and the love seat and whatnot, man, and be able to watch the big screen with the lights and shit, man. It's beautiful. I feel proud, man. I feel proud. Now, I should let y'all know though, I had to cancel the order that I had with goddamn Macy's though. Yeah, man, these motherfuckers sent me another email talking about it was going to be another couple weeks before they can update me as to whether or not it was going to even show up at the warehouse. Not a delivery date, nigga. Not a delivery date, but at the warehouse. Now, last time I had talked to Macy's customer service about the fact that I had been waiting 4 months for my fucking furniture, they was like, well, what if we took 10% off? I'm like, hey, man, that ain't enough. I ain't satisfied. What y'all need to do, if y'all wanted to satisfy me for real, try to light a fire up under their ass, man. Y'all need to take off $200 for every month I've had to wait for my damn furniture. And you're going to take off another $200 for each additional month until I get my shit. Right? Now, of course, they probably wasn't going to do that, you know, and I'm talking to people over the phone. They got a job to do. They can't promise me that shit. I was even talking to these people over on Twitter, man. But they kept talking about delays, bro. And I get it. You know, COVID's a thing. I get all of that. But when I can go to this next place and they got the shit I need and I can get it the very next fucking day, yeah, man, I think I'm through waiting on y'all, man. I felt like I've been moving into my house for 5 months, man. Like, real talk, it felt like I had boxes and shit in my living room and stuff, man. Because I felt like I was still moving in here, man. I ain't had nowhere to sit in my living room. I mean, I had like a little recliner, you know what I'm saying? And I had like the futon, but it ain't the same, bro. It ain't the same, you know? So, yeah, man. Finally got some shit. So now, you know, when you feeling, I'm thinking about like, you know, front porch furniture and shit. I wanted to like be able to chill on the front porch in the summertime, man, and like sit out there and maybe take a nap or some shit on the weekends or something. Like, you know, do some shit like that. Cause, you know, your man's being like old, like getting old and shit, and you want to relax and stuff. Like, I don't even be looking like Hellcats and shit. I be looking at like luxury cars because I want to chill. I don't want to go fast no more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Those have been my random thoughts, man. Let's get our asses up into the news, man. All right. Our first story here in the news, though, has to do with the fact that, yo, man, DMX is in the hospital. Unfortunately, DMX has suffered a drug overdose, and right now they're reporting that he's in grave condition. So we get this story here. This comes out of TMZ.com. It says DMX suffered a drug overdose Friday night and is currently in the hospital, and the prognosis is not good. Sources close to the rapper tell TMZ the OD occurred at his home around 11 p.m. Our sources say the overdose triggered a heart attack. DMX was rushed to a hospital in White Plains, New York, and is in critical care unit. We're told he has some brain activity. Another source says that he's in a vegetative state, and doctors have cautioned he may not make it. As we reported over the years, DMX, who was the cornerstone of the Rough Riders label, has battled substance abuse and has been to rehab several times. His last rehab stint back in 2019 came after he completed a 12-month sentence for tax evasion. At the time, we were told DMX hadn't relapsed, but checked himself into rehab out of fear he might again, as he felt temptations to use creep up on him again. DMX has made his return to the stage following rehab in December 2019 when he hit Carlson in Las Vegas, chatting it up and taking photos with fans before he hit the stage. During the Vegas show, he took a moment to tell fans, when you fall down, get back up. Everyone here has been through some shit, and you never know what God is willing to do for you until you need him to do something for you. Last we saw him perform was in July 2020 when X faced off with Snoop Dogg in a versus battle, which saw more than 500,000 viewers tune in, proving he still had an incredible ability to bring in an audience. We will, of course, update as information becomes available regarding his current situation. And so, yeah, man, I saw that, and it was ironic to me, man, because I had just been like kind of like on YouTube looking at the Rough Riders Chronicles on YouTube. Like, I know BET broadcast that, but I had been watching clips of it on YouTube, and then like following that, like getting news that DMX had been, he had maybe suffered a drug overdose, man. And one of the things that also happened was during the course of the last couple of weeks is a friend of mine from high school passed away. And it just kind of makes you think as we get older, man, that like nothing is promised to you. You know what I mean? DMX is I don't know how old DMX is. I assume he's in like probably his late 40s, like late 40s. I don't think he's over 50 yet, but to lose somebody so talented, and he's not gone yet, but the prospect of him being gone just seems like way too early. And it bothers you, and it makes you think about your mortality that much more, especially the older we get. You start thinking about your mortality that much more. And as like I said, as I lost a friend to congestive heart failure at 39, it really makes you take a pause, man. It makes you take a pause and like think that like, yo, man, like this shit is not promised. Like tomorrow is not promised to you. So it just kind of hits it hits different now than it probably would have like when I was like 24 or 25 or something like that. It just hits different when when you see people, especially someone of DMX's stature, like kind of struggling through some things, man. And we pray for DMX's recovery and kind of hope that despite the grave condition that TMZ is reporting him to be in, that you still hope that he pulls through and is able to prove that prognosis wrong. And so, I would hate to like, start off the springtime and we talking about the loss of DMX, man, like, because I think that, like you could tell that, I'm sorry, but you could tell that brother has been dealing with a lot of shit over the course of his life. And, I just kind of feel like DMX has a hell of a lot more to give. And so prayers up for DMX, man, real talk. And also prayers up for my man Charles Chucky Jones, man, OHMC alumni, man. We love you, brother. Been thinking about him also as this been going on, man. So real talk. Another story that we got here in the news is Baltimore's DA, Marilyn Mosby, has decided that the city will no longer prosecute drug possession cases, prostitution cases, or other small, petty crimes. We get the story here. This comes out of CNN.com. It says Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby says the city will no longer prosecute for prostitution, drug possession, and other low-level offenses. Mosby made the announcement on Friday following her office's one-year experiment in not prosecuting minor offenses to decrease the spread of COVID-19 behind bars. Today's America's war on drug users is over in the city of Baltimore. We leave behind the era of tough on crime prosecution and zero tolerance policing and no longer default to the status quo to criminalize mostly people of color for addiction, said Mosby in an official press release. The experiment, known as the COVID criminal justice policies, is an approach to crime developed with public health authorities. Instead of prosecuting people arrested for minor crimes like prostitution and public urination, the program dealt with those crimes as public health issues and worked with community partners to help find solutions. The program has led to decreases in the overall incarcerated Baltimore population by 18%, while violent and property crimes are down 20 and 36% respectively, according to the press release. Mosby said her office will no longer prosecute the following offenses: drug and drug paraphernalia possession, prostitution, trespassing, minor traffic offenses, open container violations, and urinating and defecating in public. Mosby says she intends to refocus law enforcement on more severe offenses that plague the city and have contributed to its violent reputation. When the courts open next month, I want my prosecutors working with the police and focused on violent offenses like armed robbery, carjacking cases, and drug distribution organizations that are the underbelly of the violence in Baltimore, not using valuable jury time on those that suffer from addiction. Her decision was supported by Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott and Baltimore City Police Commissioner Michael Harrison. But Republican State Senator Robert Cassilly told CNN affiliate WBFF that while he supports prosecutorial judgment, Mosby's decision is closer to making the law rather than enforcing it. prosecutors take an oath to uphold the Constitution in the state of Maryland, and the Constitution says the General Assembly sets the policy, not the prosecutors. I respect the whole prosecutorial discretion. Do you? Because it don't seem like it. That's not prosecutorial discretion. That's an exercise in legislating. That's what the legislator is supposed to do. So here's the thing. She didn't make a law. She decided that some of these laws, like, all right, we just gonna kind of look the other way on that shit. We ain't see it. If I ain't see it, wasn't no crime, right? And so here's the thing with Marilyn Mosby. And I like Marilyn Mosby. Here's the thing, and I think this bears saying that I remember when Kamala Harris was running for president, right? And people were at Kamala Harris's neck because Kamala Harris was a former prosecutor in the state of California, right? People had issues with some of the things that Kamala Harris did as attorney general, as a former prosecutor. I believe I want to say it was San Francisco. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what city. If anybody's in the chat room or anybody wants to educate me on that, please do. But what they were trying to do with Kamala Harris at the time was that they were trying to apply today's standard to what a progressive prosecutor would look like to what Kamala Harris was dealing with at the time, right? And so by today's standards, Kamala Harris probably wouldn't be considered a progressive prosecutor. Marilyn Mosby, however, by today's standards, probably would be. They won't have the same smoke for Marilyn Mosby in the same way they would have had for Kamala Harris. And so Marilyn Mosby has decided to like, yo, man, we spend far too much time, prosecuting these petty crimes like public urination, like who really got hurt in that particular situation. Unless, of course, it's your establishment, like, hey, man, I don't need these niggas pissing on my shit. But still, does it require jail time? Drug possession, drug paraphernalia. Like, again, we're moving towards an America where people are moving towards this attitude of drugs or mind-altering substances, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call them. We're moving towards a point where they're becoming more and more acceptable in the public and in the mainstream. Like, you find a lot of, like, you even have the former Speaker of the House, John Boehner, is now a lobbyist for marijuana, right? Republicans are also getting in on this marijuana bonanza because, again, there's money to be made there. So you got a lot of folks who were talking about this war on drugs, and now that the drugs are becoming legalized, you got a lot of these people who were talking about locking folks up before, trying to get themselves in and where they can get money off of it now. Also, keep in mind, there was money in locking niggas up before this shit too, right? So what Marilyn Mosby is doing is shifting the attention towards the more serious shit, the shit that people really do give a fuck about, man. Like, I mean, honestly, at this point, man, if you locking somebody up over, having a joint in the car, man, like, what you doing? What you doing? The nation is moving away from that, which is one of the criticisms that a lot of people, and it's a legitimate criticism that people have of Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden had let people go from the administration that had admitted to prior marijuana usage. They didn't even say that they were still doing this shit. They were like, yeah, at one point in time, I smoked weed, and they got let go. Joe Biden got to come off of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. I'm not even somebody who partakes, but you got to come off of that, bro. That's just not what we at anymore, right? So Marilyn Mosby stepping up and saying, like, listen, we're not going to spend our time and our resources prosecuting these nuisance cases. What we need to do is focus our attention towards these motherfuckers who are really causing problems within our neighborhoods, within our communities, and be more aggressive in prosecuting those cases, which is really what the vast majority of folks kind of want, right? So shout out to Marilyn Mosby for stepping out and forward on this particular thing, despite the fact that she has, of course, predictable criticism for Republicans, because Republicans, they claim to be like, let's keep it a buck, man. They claim to be about law and order and all this other shit, but it's about law and order of a certain segment of the population. Let's keep it a buck. We already know they are who we thought they were, right? So yeah, man, that's in the news. Another story that we got here in the news, man, is that vaccines or proof that you've been vaccinated. Apparently, vaccine passports could soon become a requirement when it comes to travel. Yeah, man, we get this story here. This comes out of WXYZ.com. That's the Channel 7 ABC affiliate here in Detroit. And there's video attached to this. So let me go ahead and pull this video up so you guys can watch right along with me. Hold on just a second while I do that. Let's get rid of that. And let's do this one. All right. All right, here we go. Whoops. All right, here we go, people.
Spread the idea of implementing a vaccine passport to enter businesses or travel. It's gaining traction, but not without plenty of debate.
I think it's an okay idea if it helps to other people in the public to avoid them getting sick.
I think it's kind of crazy to expect people to go along with something as crazy as that.
Okay, News 5's Emily Hamilton explains how a passport could work and why some think it's crossing a line.
Could airlines, private companies, and event venues soon require proof of the COVID-19 vaccine for customers?
I would think that could happen over the next 4, 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Mark Alicio of Case Western Reserve University says it's likely that it could soon be mandatory to be vaccinated to travel internationally and attend places like sporting arenas and movie theaters.
A secure thing like a vaccine passport would be a way to make that happen.
These travelers, both flying to Florida Wednesday night, expressed opposing views about the possibility of such a passport born as a product of the COVID-19 pandemic.
If they make it mandatory, masks are mandatory, and we have to wear it. So if they did make it mandatory where we had to get a vaccine and travel, that's what we have to do, have to follow the rules.
No one's asking me if I got a flu shot to go get a McDouble at McDonald's, so I don't see any reason why it'd be any different.
Because the flu isn't as deadly as the fucking COVID-19, bruh. That's why they're not asking you about that shit. It's not as deadly. I'm sick and tired of motherfuckers acting as though COVID-19 is the same as the flu. It ain't. We done lost 500,000 motherfuckers just in this country alone since March of last year. It ain't the same. And I'm tired of motherfuckers using that goddamn, I'm tired of people using that stupid ass reasoning.
Different with COVID.
Art Nitchkoff has been a travel agent for nearly 4 decades, but business came to a screeching halt this time last year.
Places were closed, planes weren't going. It was just a nightmare for months just trying to get people rebooked and to get them refunds.
Nitchkoff says his cash flow is picking up and several of his customers are currently vacationing in Mexico and Las Vegas. He says vaccine passports could add an extra layer of protection for travelers and ensure the travel industry continues on its upswing. But he acknowledges that not everyone agrees.
They think, if you have to have a passport to go into places, that's too much Big Brother. They feel like they're going to be chipped so that the government knows everywhere that they go.
Alicio says federal regulations regarding the passports are unlikely.
That's not what is being considered by the Biden administration. And I think they've ruled that out.
And that instead.
Okay, so here's the thing with that, though. I actually kind of think that they should have one standard for this so that it isn't easily it simplifies the process. If you have one standard for the passport, then you don't have to worry about, are they doing shit the right way in Illinois, or are they doing shit the correct way in Maine? You know what I mean? Because I know they aren't the same thing, but in much the same way that when it comes to having a concealed gun license, right? You can have a concealed carry license for a firearm, but depending on which state you got your license from, some states ain't honoring your shit because of the way in which your license may have been issued. They don't feel like your state had stringent enough requirements in order for you to get said license. So you can get a gun license to carry shit and it might be honored in a whole bunch of states, but there's also a few other states that might not honor your shit. And so when it comes to the COVID passport, this is why I feel like there should probably be a federal standard. Because then it's okay, we got this one standard. It works for everybody. This is what we're doing. That way you don't run into, we don't honor that particular passport because we don't like the way that they've been doing shit in that particular state. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they should have one standard so that it's not confusing to everybody. Well, how the fuck am I supposed to get another passport from another state? Because I don't go there. Like, you know, it just simplifies shit, man.
They're more likely to be implemented by private companies. For now, Logan Pagel says he's not on board with the idea.
I think we should just keep going the way we're going now and let people make their own decisions.
Reporting in Cleveland, Emily Hamilton, News 5.
Yeah, man. So they're talking about, you know, you possibly needing a vaccine passport in order for you to travel. And this is like the other part about this, man. Like people act like I get it. There's some personal civil liberties and shit that go on with a lot of these decisions as far as vaccinations are concerned. But also, like, your decision isn't affecting just you, right? Your decision isn't affecting just you. It's affecting everyone who may come in contact with you, whether or not you choose to mask up, whether or not you choose to respect the social distancing protocols, whether or not you choose to get vaccinated. Those are conscious decisions that you make every day that affect not just you, but everyone around you. We have to deal with that shit. And so at a certain point, your personal comfort doesn't trump the community's personal comfort when you're around. That's just what it is, man. And you know what? I'm gonna get into this because there's another story. There's a follow-up to this that kind of like I kind of wanted to get into. There's a follow-up story.
Yeah.
Wait.
Can I walk the chat?
I'm sorry, but yeah, we got shit playing all over the place. But there's a follow-up story. So I got this other story here that I kind of want to talk about. And that's there are now fake CDC COVID-19 vaccine cards that are being sold, and they selling like hotcakes on the goddamn dark web.
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, we got a video associated with this here too. So let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on just a second while I get this up here. All right, let's do that and that. And this is the one. All right, check it out, y'all. Soon as it loads up.
Alan, as venues and even transportation providers start requiring proof of vaccination, fake vaccine cards are becoming a hot commodity and a dangerous one, according to 45 attorneys general from across the country, including Illinois AG Kwame Raoul. Even as Americans are being vaccinated, many more people are not. That is making these official, albeit paper and handwritten CDC cards among the hottest items on the knockoff market today.
We've seen a 300% increase from what was available in December.
While some phony vaccine certificates are still priced at hundreds of dollars on the dark web, some less authentic-looking copies are available for free. And the I-Team tonight finding more conventional platforms with versions for just a few dollars, resulting in this letter tonight from most of the state attorneys general in the U.S., the letter to the CEOs of Twitter, Shopify, and eBay targeting deceptive marketing and sales of fake COVID vaccine cards. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul is among those tonight asking for immediate action to prevent your platforms from being used as a vehicle to commit these fraudulent and deceptive acts that harm our communities.
Those that are hesitant to get the vaccine for whatever reason may turn to alternatives. They potentially have real risk of carrying the virus and transmitting to others.
The White House this week announcing national guidelines in the works for managing so-called vaccine passports, providing digital proof of vaccination or recent negative COVID test results, even as some countries actually will administer the vaccine passports themselves.
Unlike other parts of the world, the government here is not viewing its role as the place to create a passport, nor a place to hold the data of citizens.
The FBI tonight also out with a special alert warning the public of making or buying fake vaccination cards or even filling in an actual card with your own information if it isn't true. The FBI citing a federal law against misusing official government logos such as the CDC. And that crime is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Stacey?
All right. So, yeah, man. So here's the thing. And I've been seeing this. I've been seeing people talk about this, and I've talked about this quite.
The pandemic has created an
sorry.
opportunity for
turn this
saving.
Let me turn it off. But yeah, man, I've been seeing people talk about this, and I've been talking about this myself on social media for the last couple of days. Yeah, the fact that people would go to the links of spending $150 of their own money to go get a fake COVID-19 vaccination card is the craziest shit in the world, bruh. To me, that you would go spend $150. Some of y'all ain't spending $150. I know I saw some shit on there. They were like $20, but they were some like real bad knockoffs. But like $150 was some of these were going for. You will be willing to spend that to not get the vaccine, and maybe it being found out that your card is a phony, right? Like you would go through all of that trouble. You would go pay somebody some money to go get this fake ass card so you can go to this like social event. So you can go to this this sporting event maybe, so you can get on a plane to go take this trip or whatever, right? And what the thing to me is like, it's almost like cheating on a test and still failing that bitch, right? You done went through all the work to cheat on this test, as opposed to just like going ahead and doing the fucking work required in order for you to have the knowledge and have the ability to pass this test. You would rather go through all of this rigmarole in order to not do the work, and you end up doing more fucking work because you didn't do the real work and you failed a fucking test anyway, right? And so one of the things that I think, you know, and when I talk about this, sometimes like I want this to be clear. I'm not talking about the folks who, as of yet, don't have access to the vaccine, right? I'm not talking about those people. I'm not talking about those folks who have not been able to, get an appointment, who have not, or they're in an age group or their state where they don't meet the requirements for them to get the vaccine at this point. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the folks who are going out of their way to let people know, I ain't fucking with that vaccine. Fuck that vaccine. I don't want to try that vaccine. None of that shit. But you want to have, like, you want to kind of go out here and operate as though COVID-19 and like just went away. Right? Now, here's the other part about it, is that you think that there's like all these risks associated with you getting the COVID-19 vaccine. Like, man, I don't know, man. They ain't tested it long enough, man. You know, I don't want to be the first one to get it, man. It's some bullshit, man. They came out with this shit like it was like that, man. Like, when was the last time you seen the vaccine just pop up after a year, man? It's some bullshit, man. 5G, nigga. Your cell phone reception might go good, man, but you're going to die in about 5 months, man. Like, that sort of like ridiculous shit, right? All these conspiracy theories and shit that niggas like kind of bring up, man. What about, you know, Tuskegee nigga, and like they gave them damn syphilis, man. I don't want no parts of that, man. I don't want them to give me the syphilis, man. That's bullshit, man. You shouldn't be. You don't want to be no guinea pig, nigga, man. You don't want to be out here being a test dummy, man. That's some bullshit, man. Now fuck all that, right? And the reason why I say that is because you run more of a risk running out here getting COVID-19 naked, right? Naked from the vaccine. You run more of a risk of actually going out here getting COVID-19 and actually getting COVID-19 after you've been vaccinated. Those are just the facts, man. Those are the facts of the matter. And the reason why a lot of folks look at the people who are talking about not getting vaccinated, and I'm not like, I get it. People have this skepticism and shit. I got family who is still talking about, nah, I ain't getting it, despite the fact that they can't see certain people. Certain people don't want to come around them. We can't get together no more. Like, I miss, man. Like, it was Easter Sunday, this past Sunday, man. Like, it was Easter yesterday. Like, I miss being able to get around my uncles and shit and talk some shit, you know, and eat some ham and like potato salad and like also like, you know, all the Thanksgiving stuff that comes with the Easter, feast and shit, right? I miss like, you know, leaving the crib, leaving grandma's house or whatever, and your granddaddy telling your uncles and shit to shut the fuck up while they leaving the house, You know what I'm saying? I kind of miss that shit, man. It's like you leaving the crib at your grandma's house and your granddaddy telling your uncle,
Stone Groove, my man. You are the most righteous. Yeah, right. Just get the fuck out, man. Let's go. Shit. Come on. Hurry up. And be quiet out there. My neighbors asleep. They work too.
Granddaddy wasn't playing that shit, man. Like, he was cool with y'all coming over to the house and whatever, with your pastels on, man, with your Easter suits on, man, and all this stuff. We don't do that shit no more. We haven't been able to do that shit now for damn near 2 years, right? We couldn't do it last year. In many cases, we can't really do that shit now. So what happens is this, right? The reason why a lot of vaccinated people or those who want to be vaccinated are looking at these motherfuckers who talking about they don't want to get vaccinated. They're looking at you as a thing that's keeping them from getting back to some level of normalcy, right? This is why folks are frustrated with y'all, because they want to. People want to go to the movies and shit. People want to go back to like going like to a restaurant, and it's not like, yeah, you could say you could do those things, but it ain't the same, and y'all know it. The movies ain't the same if you got to wear a mask and shit. Like, well, how the fuck I'm gonna eat my popcorn, bruh? Like I want to be able to like go enjoy this movie, and it like the theater is packed, and not run the risk of getting a life-threatening disease and shit because I went to the goddamn movies, or I went to go have an anniversary dinner with my wife, or we went to go celebrate a graduation. My daughter can't have prom this year, bruh. My daughter graduates from high school this year. No prom. No prom. And part of the reason why they don't have prom is because we got, not only here in Michigan, we having a surge in COVID-19 cases, but also you just got like a lot of people who are just like, yo, they can get the vaccine, they just don't want the motherfucker. And all of the reasons why they don't want it are being debunked every day, but that don't mean shit. Like, facts don't mean anything. Like, that's the other part about this. It's like herding a bunch of feral cats, man. And I keep bringing this analogy back, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, everybody wants to like do they want the privileges of being an A student at school, man. An A student gets certain like allowances and shit, but we doing D student work. We don't want to do the fucking A student work, but we want all the privileges of the A student. And that's what this feels like. So when people are going to the links of buying fake COVID-19 vaccination cards, it's the most selfish shit in the world. It's the most selfish shit in the world, because you could also, knowing you haven't been vaccinated, be a carrier for COVID-19, right? You could also be a carrier, asymptomatic as you may be a carrier for COVID-19 and passing that on to somebody else. But you're telling people that you've been vaccinated against this, so their guard is let down, right? Like, that's some selfish ass shit. And it's reckless. Right? Now, I know some people will be like, yo, Spann, though, man, like, you know, you might have been vaccinated, man, but you could get the COVID-19 too. You know what? You're right. COVID-19, like the vaccine, does not foolproof you against contracting COVID. It is not. It's like 90% effective. But I'd much rather be like 90% effective against like getting the shit and passing it on to somebody else than like have no protection. Hell, even if they saying like Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer or whatever else, like if those vaccines are only 76% effective, guess what? I'm 66% less likely to get COVID. I'm 76% less likely to get COVID and pass that shit on to somebody else. Because it ain't just about me. And that's the point that I'm getting at. When we start talking about these personal choices and shit, it ain't just about me. I might be okay, but I can't promise you that somebody else who came in contact with me will be. And that's the rub that a lot of motherfuckers just ain't getting. It ain't just about you. And as somebody who's lost 4 people from that, who has been like, you know, practicing social distancing, despite the fact that I got to go in people's houses every day and shit, Can't not being able to like go sit down in a restaurant and have a meal with my wife, not being able to go and celebrate our anniversary in the city that we love, New Orleans, and celebrate in the way in which we love to do, like not being able to do those things because COVID-19 is still a thing and you got motherfuckers holding that up. Yeah, man, we getting a little frustrated with y'all, man. Get off your ass. Get your ass off your shoulders, man, and help us get back to some level of normalcy. This is why people are frustrated with y'all. That's why we frustrated. Get the damn shot. Get the damn shot. You want to go to a concert and not have to worry about wearing a mask? Get the shot, man. You want to go over to your grandma's house and not worry about granny getting sick? Get the shot. I mean, it's a pretty simple prospect. Now, I know here in Michigan, they've lowered the eligibility for COVID-19 vaccinations to 16. Anybody 16 and up can get it. Hopefully, more and more people get this shot, man. But the weird part about it is when we start hearing people talk about COVID-19 and stuff like that now, like you start hearing people talking about, well, I know somebody who I had a back and forth with a damn anti-vaxxer yesterday. Suddenly she knows a high-ranking Detroit executive who's over one of the hospitals in one of the hospital systems here in the Detroit area, and they have a ward full of previously vaccinated people who now have COVID-19 and they're on ventilators. And then when you ask, okay, so who's this executive? Can't tell you. Then when you ask, okay, well, what? Fuck it then. You ain't got to tell me who it was. What hospital? Can't tell you. Suddenly, all these motherfuckers know somebody who's been previously vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and they got COVID already. Come on, man. Come off the bullshit, bruh. Because one of the things that tends to happen is, like when you come up with these anecdotal stories about these people that you supposedly know that nobody else fucking knows, and they got the COVID and whatever else, and they've been vaccinated and shit, there's no way that anybody can verify that. And you know that. That's why you say that sort of shit. Nobody believes you. Okay, let's just make that clear. We don't believe you people, man. Like, you need more people. You need more people, right? So yeah, man. I just implore people, man. At this point, like, people are getting sick of this shit. Like, people are getting sick of this shit. Y'all want to go on vacations? I want to go on vacations. Y'all want to go out to dinner? I want to go out to dinner. Y'all want to go to the movies? I want to do all of that shit. I want to get with my family. We all want to do all of this shit. We don't want to do the work associated with getting to the shit, though. So yeah, man, that's been the news, man. Oh shit. Yeah, man, but y'all know what time it is.
What in blue blazes is going on out here? Did this nigga just say blue blazes?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, our first story here in Blue Blazes has to do with the fact that not only is it Blue Blazes, but apparently it's some niggas that's blazing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, so here in Detroit, there was a restaurateur who has an upscale establishment in downtown Detroit. And he's a bit upset with the clientele because the clientele apparently keep coming to his establishment and they reeking of that wacky tobacco. Yeah, man. As a matter of fact, there's video associated with this. So let me go ahead and pull this video up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on a second while I do this here. All right, let's do that. And that. And here we go. Hopefully they don't hit us with like commercials and shit. But check this out, y'all.
In other news, a high-end restaurant calling the fashion police to weed out some fashion don'ts for those choosing to dine in.
Tonight, the owner of Detroit's Caucus Club working to clear the air after taking to social media, urging customers to keep it classy. Fox 2's Randy Wimbley live now with that story. Randy.
Hey guys, I talked with the owner of the restaurant who says that since the pandemic began, people have gotten really lax with their behavior and how they dress. And that post is all about getting people to step up their game again, at least when they come here.
That it was a reminder with a little bit of sauce just to get people's attention. And And it didn't, I don't mean any harm by it.
Caucus Club owner George Sabukis on the Facebook post that's earning the fine dining establishment in downtown Detroit both cheers and jeers.
You can't wear sneakers. Why can't you wear sneakers?
Sabukis sharply reminding customers of the restaurant's dress code, business casual at a minimum, and making it loud and clear those reeking of reefers are not welcome. Hashtag no Cheech and Chong.
It's so pungent. Some of the guests that commented, it smells as if you're seated next to a dead skunk.
Not exactly.
Some of y'all smoking that sticky icky. Ooh, wait. No, I'm sorry. You upset about that shit, though. It's pungent.
Exactly the vibe the Caucus Club is known for.
We had people celebrating their 50th last week, the week before that. They're getting dressed up. They're putting on an evening gown, their earrings, their best suit. They're coming out to celebrate, and they expect to be surrounded by like-minded guests.
It's an upscale place. It's a nice place to eat, nice place to go on a date, special occasions.
We talked with people about the post.
If I'm spending my money, I should be able to dress comfortably.
Dress up. Put the sweats back. We've been in sweats for a year. Take them off.
I've probably been like this. And to some, it's business attire, but not what they mean.
And about the Caucus Club's kibosh on Kush.
What about people who have medicinal need? Can't they smell like it and come to the club?
You know, patchouli. Back in the day, we wore patchouli. Everybody thought we were smoking weed. We were just wearing patchouli.
The restaurant's Facebook post touched a nerve, one user calling it racist.
I have to tell you, I'm really offended by that, both personally and as a citizen. For starters, to try and insinuate that any group of people is incapable of following a code is in itself a racist statement. If you scroll through the social media, you'll also notice a big hole in my family. My adopted son died 2 years ago this May. He was 21, he'd be 23 now, and he died in a car accident. He was African and Greek descent. And that's my family.
Sabukis says the post is just about getting things back to the way they used to be pre-COVID.
I feel like we want to lose these. We want to get back to feeling good about ourselves. And a big part of that is getting dressed up and going out.
All right, Sabukis says even though they're back open for in-person dining, they're still taking a hit financially because of the capacity restrictions. And the last thing they want to do is offend and drive away guests who are used to the way things are supposed to go down here, the standards that they've had in place for years. You, Monica?
All right. So, yeah, man. Here's the thing. I'm kind of conflicted on this one. I really am. I'm kind of conflicted. And I'm conflicted because like I can understand as an establishment, you have a certain clientele that you have in mind, right? And like having a dress code kind of like makes people kind of conform to the atmosphere that you want to have for your establishment. I get that. And I also kind of get like how people feel as though it could be a bit culturally insensitive for, you know, well, like you had the gentleman that said, you know, well, I'm spending my money, I should be able to dress comfortably. But even with that, it's like, yo, man, but you have to understand that at this particular place, the expectation is this. So you can dress comfortably, but you also have to look a certain way, right? Now, the other part about this was the like the the weed smell on folks, right? Now we have, you know, weed is legal here in Michigan for not only medicinal purposes, but also for recreational purposes as well. Weed is so fucking abundantly available in Michigan now, man. You can get the shit delivered to your house, man. It's like Uber for weed, right? It's popping here, right? Here's the thing. Like there are a couple different ways that you consume weed now, man. Like you got edibles and shit, man. You got different kinds of oils that you can kind of apply, man. You can smoke it and whatever else. Like there's different ways that you can get the weed and like consume it and also get the same high as I've been told. Cause I don't know. I don't smoke the shit. I don't consume it or nothing. I kind of wish I could, but I can't. Right. So like, I don't know, man. Like I kind of feel like I should probably put this as a poll on tonight's show, man. Like, how do you feel about the idea that you can't be reeking of weed coming into a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like, how y'all feel about that? And I get like I've got weed smokers in my family and shit. So like I've been around that for a long time. But for the establishment to be like, yo, man, like y'all reeking, we trying to get back to a level of normalcy, and a level of normalcy that we looking for, like not having like niggas smell like weed when they come through here. We want to get back to that. So, man, I might just make that a poll on tonight's episode, man. Whether or not you should be able to smell like weed when you go out to eat at a fine dining establishment, man. Real talk. But that's in the news. I mean, I'm sorry, that's blue. That's the first story that we got in Blue Blazers. Now, another story that we got in Blue Blazers is apparently this lady was blazing, like as in blazing the gat, man. Like she was like firing that bitch off. Because this one lady was at Burger King. She was trying to have it her way, apparently. And they wasn't really trying to have it her way. And she got so tired of waiting in line in the drive-thru that she started busting caps at them motherfuckers, man. What? I said she started busting caps at them. She started shooting. What? Nigga, you heard me. Okay? So we get this story here. This comes out of fox2detroit.com. And this is a story out of Memphis, Tennessee. It says the police in Memphis are asking for the public's help identifying a woman accused of opening fire on Burger King employees on March 30th. In a post on the department's Facebook page, officers said the customer became disgruntled about the wait time in the drive-thru line and walked up to the window. After an argument, the woman returned to the car to grab a gun and made her way back to the window, police said. Surveillance video shows a suspect leaning into the window of the restaurant and opening fire at the employees as they scrambled to the rear of the building. Authorities said none of them were hurt. Investigators said the woman was riding in the front passenger seat. How you gonna be in the passenger seat being that mad? You can't be that mad in the passenger seat, man. I'm sorry. You just can't. It's the driver that's got to be that upset, man, because he can't get out. You know what I'm saying? Like you be in those drive-thru lines and they're real long and shit. And it's like people in front of you and there's people in back of you. And because the drive-thru line is so like narrow, you can't get the fuck out. The driver is the one who needs to be that upset. You know what I'm saying? It says authorities said none of them were hurt. Investigators said the woman was riding in the front passenger seat of a gray sedan driven by an unknown male. No arrests have been made, but police are asking for any information about the suspect to be reported to Crime Stoppers. If any arrest is made, you could be eligible to receive a cash award of up to $1,000. This story was reported from Atlanta. Why was it? I'm confused, Fox. Is it happening in Atlanta and Memphis? How the fuck we gonna figure out who it was? Come on, Fox, get y'all shit together. But yeah, man. It ain't that deep, man. Like Burger King ain't even that good. Like Burger King done fell the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like they done fell the fuck off. Like they only like big like Whoppers ain't even that good no more, bruh. Like I remember at one point in time, Whoppers was like my favorite hamburger, man. Like for real. Like they used to be good. I don't know what the fuck happened to the Whopper. They fries ain't good no more. But the only thing they got good now might be they breakfast sandwiches like the sausage croissant. Oh, that motherfucker go. That motherfucker good. But the rest of that shit, man, I don't know, man. Like they fries taste like soap almost, man. Burger King done fell the fuck off. So yeah, man, she out here shooting at these motherfuckers at the Burger King because she tired of the wait. Now listen, I can almost understand being a little bit upset with those waits though, right? Because a lot of these fast food restaurants have refused to open the lobbies back up so that you can come inside and place an order. You got to go through the drive-thru line, and then you go through the drive-thru line and you waiting, man. Like it's one order at a time. And I never forget, as much as I fuck with the Popeyes establishment, right? Pull out a Ben Carlson, but as much as I fuck with the Popeyes establishment, Popeyes had my ass in line for about a good 45 fucking minutes. And I get to the speaker and the chick gets, and hold on, here's the rub. I get to the speaker and still had to wait another 15 minutes before somebody actually came to the speaker to ask me what the fuck I wanted to order. But before they asked me what I wanted to order, they was like, yo, welcome to Popeyes. We only accepting cash right now. Can I take your order? And I'm like, the fuck? Nigga, I was waiting in line 45 minutes already. Then I get to the speaker and I got to wait another 15 minutes. And you wait till now to tell a nigga I needed cash? You talking to somebody that don't carry cash on them. Real talk. I don't really fuck with cash. You lose cash, the shit's gone, right? And we tried to do some cash and shit because of COVID, right? So your man Spann ain't had cash on him. But now I don't wasted an hour of my life in this fucking line and didn't even get the chicken I wanted. So I was hot. Not like shoot a nigga hot, but I was hot. They could have like, came outside and be like, yo, you want, we only accepting cash, we don't want you to sit in line no longer you really need to be, this, that, and other. Right? But also, and a shout out to my fast food workers, man. This is yet another reason why they deserve a hell of a lot more than minimum wage. Right? A hell of a lot more than minimum wage because of this sort of shit. Like, nigga, like, I don't want to hear shit from the police, man. Like, hey, man, I was in here trying to flip a burger, bruh, and people was like busting caps at me. Fuck what you talking about. You need to go to jail for shooting at people unwarrantedly, right? So, yeah, man. That's in Blue Blazes. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazes is Bad Baby. For those of us who are like, a little bit older and don't know who the fuck Bad Baby is. Bad Baby was the little girl who was on Dr. Phil. She wants to catch me outside. How about that? Like, she that little girl, right? Little badass kid. And she eventually turned that shit into like a little rap career. So like people be like really, buying her shit as a rapper. And she recently turned 18 years old, right? And not only did she just turn 18, but she just also came up with an OnlyFans page. Yeah. And she came up with the OnlyFans page. She had that bitch for a day. And she made $1 million that first day. Yeah, it's a sad commentary on the state of America today. But we get this story here. This comes out of, let me pull this up. I'm sorry. But let me pull this up. This comes out of complex.com. Said Bad Baby launched his OnlyFans account, claims she broke record by earning $1 million in the first 6 hours. Bad Baby has continued to expand her business now that she's turned 18. In a new post on Instagram, the rapper says she made over $1 million on OnlyFans just 6 hours after she launched her account. Not bad for 6 hours, she wrote. We broke the fuck out of the OnlyFans record. She also shared the same sentiments in a video on her TikTok showing her total revenue of $1,092,762.63. A Page 6 source said Danielle Bergoli's account is set to bring in over $5 million and wait, $5 million in 24 hours? Nigga, what? Ah, shit. Sad commentary on the state of fucking affairs in America. God damn. On Thursday, she shared an Instagram video of her wearing lingerie in an announcement of her OnlyFans. Saw your 6 million comments and now I'm answering your call. We breaking all the rules. See you bitches there. The rapper just turned 18 last week and chose to celebrate her March 26 milestone birthday by auctioning off her well-known Cash Me Outside meme as an NFT. She did multiple drops over the course of the past week, which also included original artworks by a handful of creators. And I'm gonna just tell you this here right now, man. And the reason why I say this is just like a sad commentary on the state of shit in America, man. Like, bad behavior gets compensated so well, right? Compensated so well. But also, not only that, I saw niggas on social media who would publicly proclaim that they couldn't wait for this little girl to become 18. Right? I couldn't wait for her to come 18. Which goes to show that R. Kelly ain't the only one, man. It's a lot of you pedo ass niggas out here just like trolling for these little girls, man. Can't wait for them to turn 18 so you don't seem like a pedophile because she legal. But like, nigga, you've been pining for this kid for a while. Pining for this kid. Now, I'm aware that a lot of celebrities are coming up with OnlyFans pages and they're not even posting pornography on there. But here's the thing. A lot of these motherfuckers are expecting there to be pornographic content on this little girl's page, right? And I say little girl because my daughter is 18, right? So I'm just looking at how people are responding to this. How many people are just like, yo, man, I'm gonna go ahead and pay for this content because you know I really fuck with it. Like, just keep it a buck, man. It ain't a whole bunch of these niggas that like fucking with Bad Baby's music and are going to our OnlyFans page to listen to music. No, them niggas are hoping for that little girl to be showing ass and titties on the page. That's the hope for these niggas. And it's a sad commentary. Now, she's 18. I don't really expect much from her, given what we've seen of her thus far, right? I don't really expect much. But these grown ass dudes, these grown ass fucking dudes who are talking about, man, I couldn't wait for her to turn 18. You pedo ass nigga, man. And I hope everybody around you was looking at you like, this nigga here, bro. Like, what the fuck? Or whooping your ass. One of the two. Because that's nasty, bro. Like, something's wrong with you niggas, man. Y'all need y'all ass whooped. For real. That's in Blue Blazes. Another story we got here in Blue Blazes is Donny McClurkin, man. Gospel singer Donny McClurkin is saying that he believes that he will die alone because of his sexuality. God damn! Yeah, man. We get the story here. This comes out of thegrio.com. Says gospel singer Donnie McClurkin is opening up yet again about his sexuality, revealing in a recent episode of TV One's Uncensored that he may end up alone for the rest of his life. McClurkin, 61, had previously opened up years ago about his past struggles with homosexuality, which he called a perversion, and claimed that he was able to suppress his sexual orientation, citing his and many Christian churches' stance on homosexuality as a sin. He admitted that he still had urges to be with men, but chose not to, comparing homosexuality to diabetes. He said, I don't eat sugar, but it doesn't mean that I don't want sugar. Now the Grammy Award-winning artist says he believes his struggle over his sexuality will leave him without the family he always dreamed of. I didn't know really what a woman wanted, McClurkin said on Uncensored. I messed up more than I've had good. My past relationships were a sprinkling of everything, men and women. So I'm going to just say this here right now, man. I kind of feel sorry for Donnie McClurkin. And the reason why I say I feel sorry for Donnie McClurkin is because Donnie McClurkin has internalized what I believe to be toxic, like a toxic belief within the Christian church, right? And the reason why I say a toxic belief is because I feel like this. There are people within the church who will promote, or I'm sorry, not even necessarily promote, but they will hold one sin up higher than the next, right? So the sins that they may not necessarily be guilty of committing, they hold those up for higher scorn than the ones they're guilty of committing, right? And homosexuality tends to be one of those. Abortion tends to be another one. Meanwhile, you know, they're working on Sunday. They're eating shellfish. They're eating pork. All of these things are in the Bible that these are things that you shouldn't do, but they're guilty of doing them. And so they kind of minimize that. Like, you can go to the church and get fed pork chops on a Sunday, right? Not necessarily supposed to, but it happens. You go to church, get you some sausage and some bacon in the morning for the morning service or whatever. Not supposed to, because, you know, dietary laws in the Bible saying you ain't supposed to eat the pork. But you in the church, in the house of God, eating the pork, taking in the word, right? But we don't have that same level of condemnation for that. At the same time, like, you know, no sin is supposed to be greater than the next, right? And so Donnie McClurkin is he's battling against like his natural urges as a human being. Like, and this is why I'm saying, man, like, yo, he's fighting against himself because the church has inundated in him that him being who he is sinful. That him being exactly who he is supposed to be is wrong. And one of the reasons why a lot of people are turning away from the church in many ways isn't because they believe that God hates them or that they don't believe in the scriptures or anything like that. No. The reason why a lot of folks are leaving the church is because they can't deal with the people who are claiming that they are God's representatives on earth as Christians, right? A lot of the rejection of the church has nothing to do with the scriptures, so to speak. It's the interpretation that a lot of these Christians are putting out of the religion. It's a rejection of the people, not of God. So one of the things that I think is kind of crazy about this, and this is one of the things that, like, I think the religious right is like they're keen on this, but what happens is this, man. People have reduced God. People have reduced God to having the same personal hangups that they have about certain people. And then they project it as being a religious doctrine. And they go to the Bible and they will justify their actions through the Bible. In many ways, like the Bible has been used to justify a whole lot of crazy, fucked up shit. If there's a fucked up thing going on, somebody can look in the Bible and try to figure out a way to justify why it is they're doing what they're doing. Right? The Bible can say one thing, and then you'll find another scripture in the Bible to justify why it was okay for you to do it in this particular moment at this particular time. And that's why people turn away from the church, not because they don't necessarily believe in God or even your version of what God is supposed to be and how this religion is supposed to be administered, but it's how people interpret it and then impose their own personal beliefs on the church, on the religion. So you got a lot of homosexual folks, people of the LGBTQ community who have been battling against being who they genuinely are against a religious upbringing, because this religious upbringing has been telling them who they are is wrong. Their family scorning them. Their family is just disowning them and making fun of them and mocking them and shit. And they're like, and this is one of the things that kind of really like turned me around on this. It was like, why would anybody choose that when they didn't have to deal with any of this shit? Right? Why would anybody choose to be treated that way? Nobody's choosing to be treated like that by people that claim they love them. Nobody's choosing that. Right? And so Donny McClurkin, like world-renowned gospel singer, right? World-renowned. And he's like, yo, I think like I'm going to end my life. My life is going to be over and I'll never get to live the life that I thought I was going to have, because who I am internally, who I really am, I can't be, because the religion that I've ascribed to and the belief that I have is that who I am is inherently wrong. The church did a number on him. And the people around the church have done a number on him. And like, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for someone like a Donnie McClurkin to have that level of self-hate, and that self-hate be imposed upon you because of the religious beliefs that you not only like you've chosen to adhere to, but like you've taken to heart. You taken to heart that you as a human being, that you as you are, something is inherently wrong with you as a person. And as punishment, you don't get to have the life that you felt like you should have been able to have. Whether you should have a husband and adopt some kids or whatever else, you can't have that life because of the religion. And this is why in this day and time, so many people are turning away from religion, because of the feeble, small-minded, ignorant thinking that people that people project as God's intention. As God's intention. So yeah, man, it's kind of fucked up, man. Kind of feel sorry for Donny McClurkin. But yo, man, that's been Blue Blazes.
What in Blue Blazes is going on out here? Did this nigga just say Blue Blazes?
And It was that Collapses 28, and he rode with that shit. Yeah, man, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, man, to kind of see anybody kind of like internalize that level of self-hate. And they don't have to, man. He's 61 years old. At a certain point, like, you kind of hope that he finds some level of peace. I don't think he's ever going to find that level of peace while at the same time hating himself in the way in which he does and justifying it through the religion. I can't see it, man. Real talk. But yo, we got a segment we haven't done in a while.
You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job.
All right. It's Lose Your Job time here at the Spann Report podcast, man. Our first story here in Lose Your Job is Sharon Osbourne, man. She done got the motherfucking boots. Indeed, yes, indeed, she did. So let me go ahead and pull this story up because it's been a minute since I talked to y'all. This comes out of the Los Angeles Times. It says Sharon Osbourne, the last original panelist on The Talk, is leaving the daytime show following an internal investigation. The events of the March 10th broadcast were upsetting to everyone involved, including the audience watching at home, the network said in a statement. As part of our review, we concluded that Sharon's behavior toward her co-host during the March 10th episode did not align with our values for a respectful workplace. We also did not find any evidence that CBS executives orchestrated the discussion or blindsided any of the hosts. The network acknowledged that network and studio teams, as well as the showrunners, were accountable for what happened during the intense exchange between Osbourne and fellow panelist Cheryl Underwood, noted that it was clear the co-hosts were not properly prepared for the moment. The Talk, which has been on hiatus for 2 weeks pending results of the CBS investigation, will return with original episodes on April 12th. A hiatus has been previously scheduled for the week of April 5th. The explosive conversation between the co-hosts was sparked by Osbourne's defense a day earlier of Piers Morgan, who was accused of racism for his failure to believe certain comments from the former Meghan Markle made in her recent interview with Prince Harry and Oprah Winfrey. Morgan wound up quitting his gig on ITV's Good Morning Britain. Well, I guess you get to be with her racist ass friend. You know, here's the thing, and this is something that I said. When this happened. I couldn't understand why in the fuck they needed to put the whole show on hiatus because they was investigating what the fuck was going on with Sharon Osbourne. Like, why everybody got to be out of work? Why the grips got to be out of work? Why the cameraman got to be out of work? Why the line producers and everybody else? Why everybody got to be out? Why the other show hosts got to be off work? It's I don't know how many. Because I don't watch the show. But is it 5 of them, 4 of them? They could have continued to do the show without her ass, man. And the fact that they just held everything up because we got to make sure that this white lady got her shit together and we got to dot our I's and cross our T's and shit to make sure we doing the right thing, despite the fact that we had heard some other shit going on with Sharon Osbourne and other co-hosts, this and the other. Listen, man, you going out of your way to defend your friend, cool. But then to also tell this black lady that she doesn't have room to be upset about perceived racism and that it's incumbent upon her to educate your ass about racism. People don't have time for that shit no more, man. It's at a point now, man. If you really wanted to know, if you really wanted to learn, the resources are not only available to you. We got smartphones, we got tablets, we got computers, internet, and the information is available to you at 24 hours a day. The shit is it's at the tip of your fingers anytime you want it. If you really wanted to learn and know and grow your level of expertise in this matter, you would do the work to do that. You would do the work to do that, man. So yeah, man, they gave old Sharon Osbourne a boot. Now we don't know if she's gonna go back to the UK and possibly get a show back over there in the UK. But I mean, truthfully speaking, Sharon Osbourne was a host on The Talk, but what even precipitated the reason for her to even be qualified to have a talk show here in America? Another example of the privilege that she was apparently not aware that she fucking had. But no, that's in Lose Your Job. Now, another story here in Lose Your Job is so one of those Trump lackeys is in the news. He's been in the news a lot lately. And the reason why this particular Trump lackey, Matt Gaetz, has been in the news because apparently the Justice Department, dating all the way back to when Trump was still president and Bill Barr was the Attorney General of the United States, has been investigating Matt Gaetz for possible sex trafficking, man. Yeah. So we get this story here. This comes out of the New York Times. It said Matt Gaetz is set to face Justice Department inquiry over sex with an underage girl. That Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida and a close ally of former President Donald J. Trump, is being investigated by the Justice Department over whether he had a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old and paid for her to travel with him, according to 3 people briefed on the matter. Investigators are examining whether Matt Gaetz violated federal sex trafficking laws. The people said. A variety of federal statutes make it illegal to induce someone under 18 to travel over state lines to engage in sex in exchange for money or something of value. The Justice Department regularly prosecutes such cases, and offenders are often receive severe sentences. It was not clear how Mr. Gaetz met the girl, believed to be 17 at the time of encounters about 2 years ago, that investigators are scrutinizing, according to two of the people. The investigation was open in the final months of the Trump administration under Attorney General William P. Barr. The 2 people said, given Mr. Gaetz' national profile, senior Justice Department officials in Washington, including some appointment by Mr. Trump, were notified of the investigation, the people said. I'm going to just say this right now, man. Matt Gaetz always kind of looked like Butthead to me. From Beavis and Butthead. Like, if you look at pictures of him and the way he, like, kind of cuts his hair and shit, he kind of looks like Butthead, man. Real talk. But also, like, it's kind of weird in the sense that, like, you look at somebody like a Matt Gaetz and the way in which he portrays himself and, like, purports himself in public, and you kind of, like, aren't surprised. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of purports himself as, like, this, like, kind of a douchey, kind of, like, rich dude. You know what I'm saying? Who happens to be in public service as far as being in an elected position. But, like, is he really serving the public good, or is he, like, just trying to be on Fox News all the fucking time and get sound bites and shit? Like, have we ever really heard any, like, legitimate legislation because of, like, have we gotten any legitimate legislation because Mark Gaetz or Matt Gaetz presented it to, like, you know, the House of Representatives or the Senate or anything like that? Has he co-sponsored any bills that, like, were really significant to the betterment of the American people? We don't know this dude for nothing but being on fucking Fox News, coming on goddamn, like, the to mock the idea of wearing masks because of COVID. He came to the fucking House floor with a goddamn gas mask and shit. He's, like, kind of a douchey dude. And so, like, it was weird too, because he went on was it Tucker Carlson show? And he tried to tell, like, yo, man, so yeah, man, you would know you would know the girl, Tucker. You know, we were here in Washington, D.C. It was me, you, her, your wife, and, you know, we were having dinner together and stuff. And Tucker Carlson, like, hold on, man. Hold on. Man, Tucker Carlson hit him with the
ho, brother, whoa. Now you got too much dip on your chip.
I don't know what you talking about, bruh. I don't know who you talking about, man. I have no recollection of this moment. Tucker Carlson tried to inch his ass away from that as far as he possibly could, man. So right now there are calls for Tucker Carlson to resign. He's refused to do so, much like New York Governor Mario Cuomo has refused to do, as he is also being inundated with sexual misconduct charges and things like that. But it's wild, man. Like, they don't really have, like, both of them don't really have a lot of defenders, man. Like, people ain't sticking their necks out for them. It's almost as if these are things that people have been sitting on for a while, and it really wouldn't have made news in the way in which people would have thought it would have made news, because Donald Trump was president, and Donald Trump always had some bullshit going on. So it never really would have made the news. Like, I feel like because of the vacuum that with Donald Trump no longer being president and Joe Biden just being an efficient fucking nose to the ground, do the fucking work president, like, people are looking for scandal. And here is, like, Matt Gaetz. Here's this shit Matt Gaetz been going on for a while. Like, they've been talking about this dude sharing pictures of, like, naked women and stuff on the House floor and shit, like, just wilding the fuck out, bruh. And you're not surprised because of the way he purports himself all the fucking time. So yeah, man, he may lose his job. He might not lose it now, but he damn sure may lose his job. So
you about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job.
All right. But y'all know what time it is.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Yeah, that's enough of that shit. It's proud to be an American time here at the Spann Podcast. And our first story here in Proud to be an American is the fact that the Major League Baseball has decided they're going to pull the goddamn MLB All-Star Game out of Atlanta, man. No All-Star Game for you, right? So they pulling that game out of Atlanta. We get this story here. This comes out of thehill.com. It says, let's see. All right, so they just got videos and shit.
Major League Baseball created.
Oh shit, they got video for this. Okay, let me go ahead and pull this up so y'all can watch it with your boy. Let me not be selfish in that way. Hold on a second. Let me do this here. Let me share this with y'all. All right, let's do that. All right. Here we go. Let's see what they're talking about.
Braves April 2nd when it announced the decision to move their 2021 All-Star Game out of the city of Atlanta. The move came in response to widespread concern regarding a new Georgia law that critics believe will restrict voting access in the state, especially for people of color. The 2021 MLB draft will also be relocated. Last week, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed into law a Republican-sponsored bill that includes new restrictions on voting by mail, among other changes. Supporters of the new law say that it helps to ensure election integrity and mitigate potential fraud, while critics are calling it a voter suppression tactic that will make it more difficult for those living in certain urban communities to vote.
All right, so here's the thing with that whole voting integrity law that they got going on in down there in Georgia. So it's all based on the premise of a bullshit lie that Donald Trump been telling since he lost that goddamn election, right? Now, Georgia had 3 recounts, 3 of them, and the results came back the same, that Joe Biden had won the presidential nomination, or he had won the presidential election in Georgia. They also had a runoff election for both of their Senate seats. Both of them went Democratic, right? And Georgia's own governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state went on the record to say that that was a pretty significantly secure election, that the results of the election were not in question, that Donald Trump had it wrong, that he didn't win that fucking state, and that Republicans pretty much just kind of like they lost. They just fucking lost, right? So if your election is so secure and you've gone out and on public record to say that your election was secure, then why in the hell did you really need to change any laws regarding voting when it came to election security, when you just came out and said nothing was wrong with your shit, right? So in response, a lot of companies have been bowing to public pressure to say like, hey man, y'all need to be good corporate citizens, and we need to stand up and like maybe have an economic boycott of the state of Georgia, because we need to have some level of pressure put upon these legislators to get them to recognize that what they've just did is unpopular with the American public, and it's not where we're trying to go. Republicans are more so like, man, fuck this. So this is what y'all gonna do? All right, so these tax breaks that y'all was gonna get, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and snatch those since y'all ain't really fucking with what we trying to do. Which is weird though, because Republicans are also talking about they tired of cancel culture, right? They was all up in arms about Mr. Potato Head becoming just Potato Head. It was all up in arms about Dr. Seuss books being canceled, despite the fact that nobody was really reading those books. They were not really like wide circulation, and it was the like Dr. Seuss like estate that like took those books down. Like cancel culture didn't do it. They was real mad about that. Y'all real mad about cancel culture, but like now y'all are being met with some shit that y'all don't like. And what are y'all trying to do? Y'all trying to cancel these contracts, trying to cancel those fucking tax breaks. Come on, man, just make it make sense. Let's keep shit consistent, right? So Major League Baseball pulls out. Other companies are like, writing strongly worded letters and shit, but Major League Baseball pulls out. Now, here's the other thing, man. So people were talking about the economic hardships and how that can affect those people who are working in those areas. Say, for instance, like people who were looking for the extra money come All-Star weekend and stuff like that. I don't know if this is exactly the right way to kind of go about it. Right. I know the people who are on the ground, like people like Stacey Abrams, people like Bernice King, like they weren't asking for these sorts of like economic sorts of backlash or economic boycotts as of yet. But, this may be, a way for people to get, like the attention. Also to like kind of keep this in the news, right? Because at a certain point, man, people's like attention spans are like that, like attention spans of a gnat. So if you can keep this thing to be constantly in the news, and I do think that like that's part of the goal, especially considering that there are 2 voting rights bills up in the federal government. I believe there's the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and there's another one that came out of the Senate, For the People Act, I believe it's called. And both of those deal with a nationalization of standards when it comes to voting rights in America. And you want to have a constant attention being paid to this, because right now voting rights are under attack in many states, most of them being led by Republican legislatures, because again, as I've said on this show many times, Republicans know that they represent a not just a vast minority, but their influence or the amount of people that they represent is shrinking more and more by the day. So the only way in which they continue to gain seats or have any level of influence on the legislature is to try to restrict these rules to keep themselves to be somewhat relevant in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, man, Major League Baseball has decided to pull their All-Star game from Atlanta, and that's in the news. Another story that we got here in Proud to Be an American, was so the Pentagon has decided that they are going to rescind a Trump era rule that barred transgenders, trans people from serving in the armed forces, man. Hey, man, shout out to them, because it was always a bullshit rule to begin with, man. Like, here's the thing, and I said this when they came up with this shit, man. Like, I ain't going over there. I ain't signing up to be fighting for none of this shit. Like, I just ain't, because, like, I'm just not. So anybody who does want to sign up to go out here and do this shit, hey, man, more power to you. Salute and all in the whole nine. I appreciate you, right? It was always some hateful shit. It had nothing to do with these people's ability to perform the jobs they would be assigned to, whether or not they would be able to perform on the battlefield or in the airfield, wherever it was they were going to have these jobs. It was never about their ability to perform. It was always about otherizing them. That's it. That's the only reason the fucking Trump administration even came up with the shit. So the fact that the Pentagon has now decided like they're not going to do the shit no more. Hey, man, I mean, cool on y'all, I guess. But it honestly should never have been a thing to begin with. So let me pull this up. Let me pull the story up. This comes out of Vox.com. It says the Defense Department just unveiled a new policy allowing transgender people who meet military standards to serve openly in their self-identified gender, repealing Trump-era restrictions that for 4 years effectively banned trans people from serving. Pentagon officials confirmed reporting by the Associated Press on Wednesday that the Biden administration will put its new policy into place in 30 days, surely a relief for the roughly 1,500 service members who identify as transgender. The Secretary of Defense strongly believes that all the volunteer force thrives when it's composed of diverse Americans who can meet the high standards for military service, and an inclusive force that strengthens our national security posture, Chief Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby told reporters in the press conference. The new policy also allows trans troops to receive needed transition-related medical care authorized by law and prohibits discrimination based on gender identity, Kirby said, and other DoD officials said. Activists who pushed for this day since the Trump years were ecstatic with the Pentagon's decision. We are thrilled that the military is putting this ugly and shameful chapter in our nation's history behind us and once again embracing our nation's highest ideals of equal opportunity for all, said Shannon Mentor, legal director at the National Center for Lesbian Rights, a group that fought in court to have trans troops again serve openly. So yeah, man, that was almost like up there for like champion of the week and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's good news, man. And shout out to everybody who's going to be able to take advantage of the rule changes and go ahead and serve in this nation's armed forces, man. So that's what's up. Another story that we got here in Proud to Be an American, and this story comes out of Florida. Apparently, the Florida House of Representatives have passed an anti-protest bill that they are selling as an anti-riot bill. Yeah, we get this story. This comes out of local10.com. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' anti-riot bill has faced fierce, heated criticism, but Friday it made its one-way step closer to becoming law. The legislation was approved by the Florida House of Representatives Friday, with the final vote in Tallahassee was 76-39 in favor of what is known as HB 1. The vote fell along partisan lines, with Republicans and supporting Democrats opposed. In September, DeSantis announced new legislation to stop violent assemblies and protect law enforcement, because that's what we really need. Protect law enforcement when people are peacefully protesting. He first proposed it after the many Black Lives Matter protests across the country. The legislation, HB 1, the Combating Violence, Disorder, and Looting and Law Enforcement Protection Act, creates new criminal offenses and increases penalties for those who target law enforcement and participate in violent or disorderly assemblies. The bill also addresses defunding the police, as it states that it prohibits state grants or aid to any local government that slashes the budget for law enforcement services. So let me get this straight. So here's the thing. Here's what doesn't really make sense. So, like, Republicans, by and large, always talk about how they want limited government, how they don't want the government micromanaging their lives and everything else, and they want the determination to be able to. They want the autonomy to be able to make these decisions on their own. So, a municipality will decide for their own municipality, like, hey, man, like y'all's budget is a little bit bloated. We can use this money towards some other resources that we desperately need in this city, and probably deal with this situation or deal with this particular problem in another way. We can kind of skin this cat another way. And what the governor had just essentially did was like, yo, if you decide you're going to do that, then we're not going to send any more state aid to your city because you are defunding the police. We don't need you reallocating funds, despite the fact that this is something that you may necessarily need for your particular municipality. It's bullshit, bro. It says the bill also addresses Republicans say HB 1 is about public safety and cracking down on protests that escalate to violent riots. However, opponents say it's unconstitutional. On the first day of the 2021 legislative session on March 2nd, protesters converged on Tallahassee to voice their displeasure. They say it aims to silence racial justice advocates and have called it a racist and have called it racist. Lawmakers who are in opposition of the bill say it undermines the First Amendment freedoms by making it easier to arrest peaceful protesters. This is also the same state that, after the people voted that convicted felons can regain their right to vote, they put, they decided they will put obstacles in front of that. So now I believe you can't vote in Florida if you are a formerly convicted felon and you owe restitution, or you still owe fines. Like, you still essentially making it a poll tax. So, yeah, man, Republicans essentially,
they are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
And we let them off the hook.
Yeah. So that's been proud to be an American.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Yeah, like I said, that's enough of that shit. But y'all know what time it is.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here.
All right. It's Champ of the Week time here at the Spann Podcast, man. And yo, man, last time I was on this mic, I told y'all, man, your man Spann had been having a hard time finding champs of the week, man. And, it wasn't a whole lot of dope shit happening, And I put out the call, man. I was like, yo, if y'all got some champs, send them to your boy, man. Nominate some champs of the week here at the Spann Podcast, man, so your man Spann can highlight these people y'all know doing some dope shit. And shout out to a friend of the show, Miss Smart, formerly of the Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine podcast, because she sent us a nominee, and I think this is pretty dope. Terry Smith is the champ of the week this week here at the Spann Podcast. And the reason why Terry Smith is the champ of the week this week here is because Terry Smith is the first Black woman to be bestowed of the honor of becoming the chief operating officer of the NFL's Player Association.
And that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, man, the first Black woman to hold that position. Now, Terry Smith is also, I'm sorry, let me get this right. She's a Howard alum. She went to Howard University, HBCU, stand up. She's a Columbia Law University graduate. She's also the line sister of our homie Miss Smart of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So she's a line sister, and also she's a mother and a wife. And like I said, like she's the first Black woman to hold this position. And I think it's dope. And because of, like, if you look at this woman's resume, like I'm inclined to believe that this will not be like the last time we hear of her doing some dope shit. So shout out to Terry Smith for being the champ of the week this week here at the Spann Report Podcast. Salute to you, sister. And Godspeed to all of your future endeavors. For real, man. We looking for people doing dope stuff, and we want to highlight people doing dope stuff. So that's what the champ of the week is all about. So if y'all got any nominees for champ of the week, send them to me, man. Hit me up at the feedback at SpannReport.com email address and send y'all champs to your man Spann so we can highlight them, man. So we can show, like, we can let the world know that they out here doing some dope stuff, man. Real talk. But it is time for me to get on up out of here. I've been running my mouth for quite a bit. But of course, before we get on up out of here, I do have to let you guys know how to get in touch with us here at the Spann Report Podcast to let your voice be heard, man. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get read here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Leave us those emails, and of course, those emails will get read here and replied to here live on the show as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead and follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, hit us up on our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls and when we decide to put those polls up. But you can also donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network. You can also get yourself some merch, man. Get yourself some fly merch. Get yourself a t-shirt. Get yourself a face mask. Get yourself a hoodie. Get yourself like we got wife beaters in there, man. We got like coasters and shit. We got a lot of stuff in there, man. So go ahead and help us out and copy yourself some merch from the Spann Report Podcast store on TeePublic. You can get there through our website at www.thespannreport.com. Just hit the tab that says take me to the store, and it'll take you right there, man. Real talk. And also hit us up with a 5-star review on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. I'm tired. And I gotta go to work tomorrow, man. It's back to the shit, man. It's back to the grind, baby. You know what I'm saying? But it's been fun, man. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam. Peace.